What's up, YouTube? Yeah, this video is about money, so I'm just gonna hop right to it. That's really the stated goal going forward, just to get right into the heart of the message. So here's the deal. This is my channel, of course, and how the world and how it occurs to me. And one of the biggest things that's been there on my mind for a long time is this conversation around money and the fact that we can't live without it. As the one guy says on one of his podcasts, our need for capital will always be there during our lifetime, or money. And for a long time, I didn't even know what capital meant, right? um, I've had a horrible relationship with money and numbers, and didn't do well at math when I was in school. Only took 2 years of it. Never even got to pre-algebra, right? And at the same time, I kind of, in tracing my steps, I realized that's probably why I've had the issues that I've had with making money, keeping it, and investing it wisely. And so over these last, golly, 10 years or so, I've just been throwing myself, and major kudos to a friend of mine, Chris, back in the day, who was really up on the business side of things. Actually, he still is, very proficient and knowledgeable about business and finance. And he would always say to me that everything in life is business. And at the time, it just didn't register at all. It's like that just sounds so cold and heartless, to put it one way. And at the same time, the more I live life, the more I study money, the more I study economics, the more I understand and study about finance or business or law. They all come back to that same conversation that he was talking about some years ago, and that everything is business, and so, and looking at the different ways to make money. And I just did a podcast on this the other day. Um and I'll probably revise it because I had some more insights that I just got from this one couple that I listened to on YouTube. Major shout out to Darius and Carmen at Wealth Nation, that dropped some serious jewels about the infinite banking platform, as well as Mr. James Nethery and Ryan Griggs. I mean, those cats are just powerful, just people of integrity that just really present to us, the people, a way to get free from, going to Bank of America or Wells Fargo to get a loan. We can actually do it for ourselves. And this is the first point I'll touch on inside of an infinite banking policy. There's a book called Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And if you get a chance, get that book. It is an absolute game changer. It's only 92 pages. And if you take away the illustrations, which really aren't relevant, and even the guy who wrote the book said if he could do it again, I mean, he's since passed on, R. Nelson Nash, he said that he would take the illustrations out of it, because those things, the moment you put numbers onto a spreadsheet, everything changes. Like, even, because I'm studying to become a nutritionist, and one of the things I learned about when you do your blood work, that's a still shot of where you are right now. And then the moment that is created is basically almost like obsolete. It's just a reference point of what could happen, of where you are right now. And at the same time, things change. So, and that's, I guess, the point that they're more or less making when it comes to the book, Becoming Your Own Banker, and the illustrations. Nevertheless, get that book. I'm telling you, I don't care where you are in the game, whether you're a successful business owner, whether you work in a minimum wage job, you're struggling, whatever, read that book. It's just phenomenal, because with the infinite banking policy, what it allows you to do, dividend, a whole life dividend, life insurance policy, allows you to, after a certain point, when you build up enough cash value, to borrow against your policy and to be able to pay yourself back at the same rate of interest, let's say, that you would pay Bank of America, or something along those lines. As he says in the book, you want to be an honest banker. That's one of the best ways to uh, build wealth, as I have learned, as I have discovered inside of listening to these podcasts, which I watch and listen to almost all the time. So there's that. Um, and I actually have a policy which I'm really excited about, and just making those payments, and really, seeing the difference, and just continuing to learn, being a student of the policy that I have. And I think that's important anytime we are investing our money, whether you choose to. Now, I don't do term, and I don't do index universal life. If that's where you are, great. I'm not knocking it. If that's what works for you, great. Based on the due diligence and the research that I have done, that ain't the policy for me. And I had the IUL at one time, and then I switched over to my IBC policy earlier this year. Um, so that's one of the ways that you can actually create your own personal economy. And if you get a chance, check out the documentary Becoming Your Own Banker, because one of the things that really drove home the point to me in listening to that documentary, and then I'll touch on the other ways to make money outside of trading time for money, is the documentary Becoming Your Own Banker. One of the people profiled in the documentary is a business owner who's a landscaper, and it really was like perfectly, it resonated with me totally, because a friend of mine that I used to work with for off and on for 3 years, who's a successful landscaper, it made me think about him. And in the documentary, one of the main things they touched on was the fact that the guy needed some new equipment. I think it may have been another riding lawnmower or something like that, and maybe some weed eaters or whatever it was for his business, his landscaping business. And because he had built up enough cash value in his policy, he actually was able to borrow against his policy and pay himself back. Like, again, like Mr. R. Nelson Nash said, be an honest banker. Don't steal the peas, right? And that was what really one of the biggest things in that documentary that just drove home the point to me. I was like, whoa. And big shout out to my dog down there in Houston, Texas, Alvin Hollinger III, who gave me the documentary just on the strength. I was shocked. I mean, the dude, I was in this entrepreneurship group on Facebook at the time, and the brother just sent me the documentary, Becoming Your Own Banker. And I just opened it up one day. I was like, oh God. And I like watching documentaries, and I usually watch the behind the scenes and all of that too, because there's some good nuggets in there too about the difference between Keynesian economics and Austrian economics. And when you understand the difference between the two, now, of course, there's the modern monetary theory, which is another conversation. And I've kind of gotten into that a little bit. I don't know that that's where I'm aligned, but I get where people are. That's people are where they are. So yeah, those are just some nuggets. Get the documentary, get the book, and do your own research and find out if that's what works for you. Okay, so here's the other thing. I'm listening to Darius and Carmen just tonight, and I get charged with this energy where I just got to share it at any given day of time or night. And I want to work on being more consistent in terms of when I share my content on here and my other platforms. But nevertheless, we're listening to the video and I'm just like chomping at the bit. I'm like, yo, did you hear what they just said? I mean, they're dropping jewels about the game and how to get free. If you want to continue to work a job, I ain't knocking it. Do you? I mean, I actually like working at Ace Hardware, I actually like working at the tile shop that I work at. I like working for the herbalist that I work for. These are all part-time jobs right now until I get to where I really want to be with some of the investing that I'm doing. But the point is that, and at some point, I actually would like to own all three of those businesses personally, and then have that be another way to generate income that's passive by having brick and mortar businesses that are, run ethically. We take care of our people. We train and develop them to where even if they leave, we have peace of mind and knowing that we made the world a better place because we train these people. We help get them up to speed with the skills that they need to advance in their life. Because one of the main things that Darius and Carmen just touched on, and Grant Cardone touched on this too, in one of his webinars that I listened to, and it was all really about marketing and how very freaking super important and vital it is to be powerful as a marketer of your brand or your business, because you can have the greatest things in sliced bread, and if you don't know how to effectively market your YouTube channel, I mean, right now I got 22 subscribers. Ideally, I would love to have 2 million subscribers because I'm getting passive income from that. Nevertheless, the whole point is, what they talked about, Darius and Carmen, Grant Cardone, was like, if I go to Ace and I'm making them money because I'm increasing sales in this department, or if I'm at Tile and Marble Outlet and I'm bringing structure and organization where maybe there was none, and I'm increasing sales. I relate incredibly well to the customers. I get in their world. I find out what's important to them, and then I can recreate their concerns to where they know they've been heard. That's a beautiful thing. And management, they'll see all of that and they'll want to pay you, and they'll be like, yo, this dude Dean, I don't know what it is about this cat, but he listens, he's professional, he shows up on time, he does his work, he's like the model freaking employee. That could be you, or I'm just using myself as a reference. That's literally what I'm creating for myself as another way to get to the next level. So and that comes from listening to this one book called The Science of Getting Rich, which I think I've referenced before. So you may hear me reference different things over and over again, but these are the nuggets that I've gotten over the years. And like they say, repetition of a message constitutes mental programming. The subconscious mind is a computer. So the more that we, saturate our subconscious with a particular program, a dominant program, that becomes our reality, good, bad, or indifferent. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between something real or imagined. So we continue to speak life into something negative or positive, eventually that becomes our life. So and so I'm just making a point there about how powerful the mind is. So so working a job, there's only so much that you can do on the job that's going to get you X amount of dollars, right? That's just the way the system is set up. Don't hate the play or hate the game. It's a system. And money is a game. Life is a game, right? So what they were speaking to is that even though, let's say in that example I was posing of, I'm great at relating to the customers, I'm increasing sales, I'm driving up their profit margins, and yet and still they're giving me, let's say they're giving me a bonus check because maybe I'm the top salesman in the company, and I'm really representing their brand powerfully, where they're in love with the performance and the way I show up and what I produce. That's all fine and dandy. There's a ceiling to that. There's a cap to that. You can only go so far with that. So what he said was, and the other couple said this as well, if let's say if I came into ACE and I implemented a system that allowed them to automate their ordering, like when a product goes out of stock, to where the system automatically knows when to order it and how many to order it based on that demographic and how much that particular product or service sells. If I could go to them with a system that's going to improve their margins, to where they're like, wow, okay, we love what you do working for us as an employee, and this is a whole nother game. In other words, they can only, like I said before, they can only pay you so much as an employee. However, when you bring in a system into a business that allows the people that run that business to be able to spend more time working on their business, as opposed to in their business, that's a game. They're like, okay, what's your price? How much do you want? How much do you want us to pay you for that system? We love what you just said. We love what you just created. And we know from all of the struggling that we've done to find a system that works, that this is going to change everything for us. And we can actually have more time as a family to spend with each other and enjoying the fruits of our labor, as opposed to having to come in to go to the main warehouse to pick up some products because we're out of stock on this one particular item because the system didn't order it, right? That's where you or I can go to a whole nother stratosphere when it comes to the money that we earn, that allows us to get free from trading time for money or being on a job. And so that right there, and listening to Grant Cardone talk about that the other, I think it was last month when I was on his webinar, and then listening to the other couple just maybe not too long ago mention that, I was like, wow, that's it right there. Now, of course, it takes some time to really be able to create a system for, let's say, tile and marble outlet, or I don't know, floor and decor, or wherever the place might be, to where you can help them to what do they call it? Scale your business, or like automate it, to where they, like I said, just have more time freedom and they can spend more time working on their business. That may take a while for you or I to get to that point to create a system like that, or for even for a lot of these small business owners. I've worked for several small business owners, and a lot of them have issues with making sure that the shelves are stocked, because they don't have a system set up to where when this product runs out, then again, like I was using the example about Ace, then automatically they have something, set up in their software to where it knows that, oh, okay, this vitamin C product is out of stock. Okay, we'll order it from Now Foods and it'll be here in 3 days. It's like that type of thing for small business owners and most business owners. For any of us to be able to create systems like that is an absolute game changer. And this, the other point I'll reference is this movie called The Founder, which is based on a true story of the McDonald's brothers who started the Golden Arches, as some of us more mature folks might know. I never really think about age, actually. But the Golden Arches, McDonald's, was started by the McDonald's brothers. And then they did business with Ray Kroc, who was like this shrewd shark of a businessman. I mean, he actually took the company from him, really. But however, the McDonald's brothers at a certain point in their process, when they were struggling, and I think it was when they may have started to get into negotiations with Ray Kroc, they had to create a system. And that system is what you see in all McDonald's today, to where they have the fry machine in one place, they have the burger station in another place. And that's all to make everything easier so they can just automate it almost. Now, I mean, because of this whole AI conversation that's, out there nowadays, man against the machines, you might say, from Terminator. And what was that movie? Was Zoe Saldana? Oh God, it escapes me. Avatar, I think was the name of it. That's kind of where they're trying to go with things. You already see a lot of that happening, where a lot of jobs are being automated to where they're people that used to work in those jobs won't be in those jobs anymore because they're just being, extinguished and being replaced by AI or automation. But in the movie, The Founder, that's one of the biggest things he talks about, or one of the biggest takeaways I got from that movie was the system that they created. And that system is what they put in all McDonald's throughout the US, and I would probably say throughout the world, and that system is something that whoever created it, and I guess in this case, I think if memory serves me right, it was the actual McDonald's brothers. If they did their business right, they should have gotten paid when actually, Ray Kroc kind of like stole the company from them. But if they did their business right, they should have got paid like goo gobs of money just because they put that system in there that just helped things to run that much smoother, right? So that was just one thing I was going to say about that. I'm kind of in my space here, so if you want to follow me into the longer portion of it, great. If you don't, I understand. This topic is fascinating to me. So here's some of the other things about money that I've observed and I have learned, and that is so you got real estate, okay? You got your wholesaling, you got retail. You got wholesaling, you got foreclosures, you got people that buy and flip, you got people like Robert Kiyosaki and Ken McElroy, his business guy that works with him. And one of the things that they talk about is how they don't buy properties to flip them. They buy and they hold them. And a lot of where their money comes from is from the people that are paying rent in those properties, is how they build their financial war chest, so to speak. And then you have a lot of people like on HGTV that buy and flip. Was that one show, Flip or Flop or whatever? So when you're doing flipping, you're paying capital gains tax. So that's one aspect of real estate. And they talk about real estate as a great way to build wealth. I mean, that's one of the things that Grant Cardone is most known for, is his money has been made in real estate. I think he started in the car dealer, selling cars. And then when that industry, kind of tanked like everything else around 2008, he, I guess, around that time started to get into real estate. So real estate is one avenue that you can pursue. And then there's also, you got people that buy precious metals, whether that's gold, silver, platinum, palladium. You got people, of course, in the cryptocurrency conversation now. That's a pretty big one. I haven't really done much with crypto, but I understand some of it. But that's one of those ways that you can, make money on your money. And so really the whole point in this video is just talking about how to grow our money. So whether it's life insurance, the right type of life insurance policy, whether it is creating systems, business systems, whether to rise above just an hourly wage because there's a cap on that. That's another way to grow wealth. Whether it's buying and holding, you might say, real estate or flipping the real estate. That's another way to create and amass wealth. And like, if you haven't heard of it, there's something called the cash flow quadrant. So that's the what I want to say. E is for employee. S is for self-employed or small business owner. And then you got I for investor and B for like big business. So really the goal is to get to the B or the I side of the cash flow quadrant. So these are some of the ways and a lot of the things I've been looking at and discovering that you can get there. And then there are trust, you have revocable and then you have irrevocable trust. And supposedly that's one of the ways that a lot of very wealthy people create and build their fortune is they create a trust. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank was talking about that, about how his mom had a trust and that trust that she had for him is what allowed her to pay for his all of his college university studies or his university studies. But at the one point that was really profound in that conversation when he was talking about it, he said when he graduated, or I think when he was close to graduating, his mom said, once you graduate, you're on your own. I've done my job. I've paid the trust that I created for you has paid for your tuition and paid for all of your college. And after that, you're on your own. You got to figure it out. And that's pretty huge because you have, that common conversation, or at least I've heard it recently, of trust fund babies, like people that were born into money and didn't have the same level of appreciation for the money that their mother or father had, because their mother and father were the ones that put in blood, sweat, and tears building and amassing that fortune. And the children were just born into it. And it's one of those things that, as I have learned, there's ways that you can still create trust that allow the generations that come after you to have a level of appreciation. There's this one, it's not really a documentary, it's a little PBS special that I have. It's called Why Smart People Do Stupid Things with Money, I think. It's by this financial advisor. And in there, he talked about ways to keep your children in that spirit of gratitude, even if they are trust fund babies, right? So that's you can research that yourself. And I don't remember I think that's the name of the documentary or the PBS special. I got to get that and look at it again, but it was really good. So trust, that's another way you can build and create wealth. And then of course, like I said, the cryptocurrencies, you got what, XRP, you got Bitcoin, you got Tron, you got oh God, what's that other one that's real popular? But that's another way that people are amassing major fortunes right now is cryptocurrency. And I'll start to look into that a little bit more. It seems like every time I turn around, there's a new cryptocurrency that's out there. And of course, like I said, precious metals, which I think are very cool because that's real money. As Kiyosaki says, that's God's money. That's one of the things that I enjoy researching and learning about, and learning how, at one time the U.S. the money system was backed by gold. So it was like, and then President Nixon took us off the gold standard August 15th, 1971. And that's when essentially the value that the dollar had was really on its way down because it's not backed by anything anymore. They're just printing money out of thin air, which is what the Federal Reserve Bank is doing right now, like crazy, like on a level like never before in the history of the world. Okay, so you got your crypto, and then you got trading stock options. So you got trading futures, trading options, calls, puts, things like that, which I've gone to some conferences around. I reference different things books I've read or workshops that I've attended, because this has all been a part of what's stirred up that want in me to learn and know more and to get to the other side of money. And one of them went to this workshop with Phil Town at Rule One Investing. That dude is amazing. And he actually allowed us to go to his property in Peachtree City, Georgia during the weekend. This was pre-COVID, and see his horses and everything. I had a chance to talk to the guy, stand-up guy, just good dude, man. And just drop some knowledge about how to become a shareholder or a stockholder, whichever term you choose to use. But one of the points he made is that when you have shares in a company, you own the company. You are a business owner, So that's one way that you can amass wealth. And he was showing us, like their algorithm at Rule One was based on, the CEO, what the CEO's core values were, what their character was like. And they have their own algorithm, so to speak, that allows you to pick different companies. And based on those companies and the CEO and what their core values are, that's the company that you might want to invest in. And like they say, whether it's, trading stocks or buying shares, or trading futures, or even crypto or gold and silver, or probably you could say for really anything, real estate, you name it, you only put up what you can afford to lose. So if it just goes to shit, excuse my language, you won't miss it, right? But that's another great way with the right company that you can really do really well. And I really like Phil Town and Rule One Investing. I don't get anything from sharing about these different folks. I'm looking to get to where they are. I don't get any residuals from it. Although I'm looking to create that too, because that's another way that you can create this conversation about money, right? It's about another one of the ways you can create money is having funnels to where you have 2 or 3 different brands. And then let's say, me as the nutritionist, after I finish working with a client as, helping them to get to their goals around health, then I can actually move to saying, okay, well, here's the company that I buy my products from. And these are the products and supplements that are going to best help you to achieve your health goals, right? And with that, me having it set up the right way, I'm getting a percentage off of the sales and the products that they purchase, because I got to eat. I mean, let's be real about it. So there's nothing wrong with talking about money or asking for money for your services or for the service that you provide. That being a starving artist and not charging enough is BS. Charge what you are worth. Ask for the money that you know that you need and that you deserve, because at the end of the day, if bills aren't being paid, if you're driving around in a freaking jalopy, barely holding your breath, hoping it'll make it from one day to the next, that just speaks to that whole point that I made at the very point about your need for capital will always be there. And so if I got the money because I'm, just closed a real estate deal, or I flipped a house, or my investment in gold and silver went up exponentially or whatever, or, I have enough cash value in my infinite banking policy, I can go into the dealership with my check already written and say, that's the car that I want. And this is what I'm going to pay, nothing more. That puts me on a whole nother, that's playing the game, on a whole nother level, and that's where, like, even in the Bible, when they're talking about slavery, most of the time they're not talking about like physical slavery. They're talking about debt slavery. And when we're slaves to debt, that's going to be a perpetual problem. That's going to cause problems in relationships. That's going to cause problems to where you won't even have a relationship a lot of times, And if you do, more than likely, it'll probably be short lived, because if you're not strong with your financial game, especially as a man, we are expected to be protectors and providers. If you're not strong on your game, you can count that relationship as a distant memory, because 9 times out of 10 she's gonna bounce. Because back in the day, you know, you paid a dowry for the woman. It's business. It's all business. You're what they call it in legal terms, quid pro quo, something for something. She's got something you need, and then if you got the money, or I mean, just being real about it, then more than likely you have something that she needs or wants. So then you come together, have a meeting of the mind, sit down, iron out the terms, and see if you can work out the deal. It's all business. So that's all the more reason why we need to be empowered around our finances. We need to be able to have open and honest conversations in relationships with the people that we're involved with about money, because we need money. We live in a world where that's the method of exchange. I mean, we can do bartering and all of that. That's fine. And at the same time, on some level, that money conversation is going to come into play. So there's that. And then okay, so what's the other one? So I touched on crypto, gold, silver, real estate, options, futures. What else did I not touch on? It was one other one I was thinking of as a way to generate income. I touched on funnels a little bit. So it could be like, I work with the client, I have the company that I get a percentage of, whatever clients I direct to that company and the products that they purchase from that company. And then let's say I make some of my own products, then I get money from that same client buying some of my products in addition to maybe products that they need. Not and again, it's about being ethical, because there's enough to go around for everybody. We don't have to come from this sleazy, getting over on people mindset. It's like, if we do things the right way and if we do it with integrity, it's like, okay, if I'm saying this to my client, I'm saying it because, okay, their blood work came back and it really says, no, you need this to help lower your cholesterol, and it just and yeah, I do get something from it, because I need that for my life and my sustenance, right? And then if you're looking for something to help get you through the cold and flu season, then I have this herbal tincture over here that's all plant-based, that's, organically grown, sustainably harvested, and it's $30, for an 8-ounce bottle. And that's below retail, by, let's say, $10. So that's a funnel. I'm just, painting a picture here. And then so that's another way. And then what was the other way I was thinking of? Golly, it's another way that because I watch a lot of podcasts, and of course, excuse me, owning a brick and mortar business. That's another way that you can do that. That's going to take some time though, because a lot of times you got to actually have to have the capital to buy the business, and then you got to staff the business, and then sometimes it might be 5 years before you see a profit on the business that you have built as a brick and mortar business owner. That's a distinct conversation. I met with a young lady some time ago, and she said, Dean, there are entrepreneurs and then there are business owners. There's a difference, because when you're talking about business owners, typically you're talking about somebody that has payroll. They have people that they are like responsible for. They might have a staff of 20 people. So they have a vested interest in making sure that they keep good people on staff and those people are happy, and they can compensate them as well as possible to make sure that they don't leave to go to another job. Whereas typically, as she said, entrepreneurs are jumping from this business to that business to that business, or to the next new thing, to the next new thing. And so they're kind of all over the place in so many words, is what she said. And it was profound, because I was like, it just like kind of hit me in the chest, because I was like, whoa, she's talking about me. I was that entrepreneur, jumping from this network marketing opportunity to this one to that one. So to be a business owner and to really just be committed to fulfilling on a vision with a particular thing, I think is definitely the way to go. That's just my take on it. And then, of course, there's network marketing, which I kind of just briefly alluded to, as another way that you can make money by being successful as somebody that has the gift of gab, so to speak, somebody that, can build a great team and be able to generate income that way. So, and I think there's one that I'm missing, and God forgive me if anybody checks this out, post down in the comments another way to generate money that allows us to get free from uh, the rat race. And then, okay, well, this is the other one I would say, like YouTube, okay, or Instagram or Facebook. If we build up enough subscribers, you get paid a residual for that. I didn't know that for a long time. And then I kept hearing about these people that were on Instagram and had X amount of followers, and they're making like $5,000 a month or whatever in passive income. I'm like, oh my God, influencers. That's what they're called. I was like, wow, how do I get there? So how cool would that be, to put out content, like the one guy, Patrick Bet David, that's very successful in the life insurance industry. And he puts out videos all the time, and his subscriber list is off the chart. And the guy makes a lot of money. So there's multiple ways, we could create our own products. Like I said, that's another way. Um, and so again, it's out there. And like I said, I'm just kind of in discovery, you might say, in terms of what it looks like to be able to create your own lifestyle and be able to have that time freedom, because the money and really being able to get to the other side of money and to be able to get to the point where we've created enough value to where we can get enough of our time back to just do some of the things that we really want to do more of. That is, like, spending time with our loved ones and traveling and enjoying shared experiences together. That's really what it's all about. So hope you guys got something of value from this video, just sharing some different insights I have gleaned over these years about money and different ways to earn it and to grow financially and to create wealth and to get free from the rat race. Ultimately, that's really what I'm after. So hopefully you guys found some value in this. Take care of yourselves. And as the Vulcans say, live long and prosper. Peace.